Under MAP, number 6025.4, during the filing review, FDA will consider the background information about a proposed drug product's development, the relevant history of the product drug development, and FDA's concerns conveyed to the applicant during the drug product's development, and the applicant's communication to the FDA throughout the drug product development. For example, when resolving issues identified by FDA. So FDA can refuse to file based on a case-by-case determination of how the development proceeded. Those two things to keep in mind are important. One is an argument to accept the data under 312. One is the warning to your client or to FDA if FDA decides not to accept it. What are the grounds FDA might not want to accept it? So thanks for bearing with me for that. I think we've talked about Teresa Imaneshi-Kari's troubles with her data, and apparently the fraud was hard to find or impossible to find, but it seems to me, reading between the lines, that her good documentation practices were poor. And the take-home message from this case is that sloppy documentation practices can be just as dangerous as poor and fraudulent documentation practices. So perhaps this case is helpful to you to convince your employers of the importance of investing in good documentation practices. Finally, I've talked about the magic words in the statute and the regulations a few times. I do want to bring up that the statute not only prohibits delivering a adulterated or misbranded product into interstate commerce, but causing it to be delivered. And that means anyone along the development process can be accused of causing an adulterated or misbranded product to be introduced in interstate commerce. And from what we know of the Park case and the case before it, the Daughter-White case, you don't need intent to break the law. You don't need knowledge that the law is being broken. You don't need a particular action if you had a duty to act. This is the only criminal case I'm aware of that can impose criminal responsibility without knowledge, intent, or act. So where your supervisor tries to excuse behavior saying they didn't know, they didn't do, they didn't act, you can tell them that that doesn't matter under this act. All right, so now we're going to go to good clinical practices. Think of these same ideas forward, that bad acts aren't necessarily deal breakers. Look for where they should be and where they might not be. And for good clinical practices, when you look ahead, you look at what needs to go into the marketing application, the NDA, the 510K, the BLA, and the PMA for devices, and see if it can be corrected or if it will be a deal breaker in the next phase. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you.